And we're rolling. So, Dennis, I have a surprise question for you at the beginning. You weren't ready for this. Can you please tell me your name and tell me what you do?
You bet. My name is Dennis Nixon. My friends call me Nick. I run a brokerage company here at Cameron Air Park, and it is called Nixon and Associates. And we broker aviation property. We broker large land and ranch properties here in El Dorado County as well.
I'm going to have you go through that one more time and just make sure you're looking at me the whole time, because I think at first you kind of started over here and then you were looking at the camera.
Okay.
Let's just stay right here. So tell me one time real quick, what's your name and tell me what you do.
My name is Dennis Nixon. My friends call me Nick. I run a real estate brokerage company called Nixon and Associates. We broker the air park properties here and aviation property in general. We also broker large ranch and development property here in El Dorado County.
Tell me, where is here?
Cameron Air Park is located about 25 minutes from Sacramento in the foothills of the Sierra Nevada mountains. We're at the 1,300-foot elevation. The air park was started in 1966 and was here before any other part of the community was here. We have a 4,000-foot runway. We have 100-foot wide taxiways. There are about 125 properties here associated with Cameron Air Park. And we've got a great community of pilots and flying families. Now the location is right off Highway 50, and in that regard it's very, very convenient. We're 10 minutes from Folsom Lake, and yeah, there are aircraft that fly in and out, so you're going to hear some airplane noise, but we are 90 minutes from South Lake Tahoe. We have some of the best recreation opportunities in El Dorado County, high Sierra alpine lakes, rivers and streams, great fishing. We have some fantastic casino gambling, downhill and cross-country skiing. Folsom Lake is 10 minutes away. The downtown district of Sacramento is just 15 to 18 miles away and just a 20-minute drive. We've got a great location for an aviation air park, and it exceeds, I think, any other air park I'm aware of.
Tell me, you started talking about the general location. Tell me a little bit, what sort of facilities are here?
Well, the taxiways have just been repaved, and that cost us about $1.4 million. There's a bond on all these properties, but the important thing to know is we actually own this air park. We own the runway, we own the taxiways, we own the fuel facility, and as a result, that creates income for this airport district. I might mention that being at this location, we're above the valley fog in the wintertime. We're below the high Sierra snow in the wintertime. And so we have great flying weather. I can't tell you, being a native New Yorker, how delightful the flying weather is here. It gets a little warm in the summertime, but our location makes it convenient for shopping. It makes it convenient to get to Sacramento International Airport. It makes it convenient to get to the Pacific Ocean. We're only about a 2-hour drive or maybe a 20-25-minute flight.
Tell me a little bit about what are the price ranges for homes in this area?
Well, the low-end houses, which are some of the original houses that were built here some 40 years ago, start right around the low to mid 300 range, and they're going to be fixer-uppers. They're going to be houses that really require quite a bit of work. I think that there's a great opportunity of homes in the 400 to 500,000 range. But quite honestly, we have a half a dozen homes here that are near or over $1 million. We do have about 35 lots available to build. I built my home here, and we finished in November of 2007. I can tell you it's a comprehensive project, but if you want what you want, the way to do it is to build. Very rarely do homes become available on the market here, and quite frankly, 3, 4, 5 transactions a year, that's what we expect in the normal activity level of existing homes that are already built here.
Okay, you wanted me to ask you a little bit about what are some of the, this might be a little bit redundant, but talk to me a little bit about some of the political and financial obligations to the...
You bet. The political and financial reality here is really good news. About 20 years ago, the people here in the air park were worried that the county of El Dorado, who actually owned this airport, were going to close it down and create an industrial park. Oh my God. They went through the effort 20 years ago to become a special district here in California. That district is called CPAD, Cameron Park Airport District, and it is managed and operated by a 5-member elected board of directors. And they come strictly from the residential side of this air park. So we have self-control. We actually own these facilities, the taxiways, the runway, even the fuel facility, which keeps us with reasonable fuel costs. There are aircraft storage hangars there, and our airport manager has an office there. Now, as to the finances, that's really good news also. We are financially viable, and we have been for many years. We're able to afford facilities like a PLASI, a pulse light approach slope indicator. That's a mouthful. We're working on an AWAS, and an AWAS is an automatic weather reporting system for this airport. And this way, a pilot can actually listen on the radio as he's coming into the airport, get an idea of exactly what the weather is, what the winds, the barometric pressure, that sort of thing. And those AWASs are actually reported on the internet all over the country, so you can get that information in real time right on the internet. Great facilities, great political environment here at Cameron Air Park.
You, on the phone last night too, you were talking to me a little bit about, you know, the social organization of the park. It's a very, very kind of warm community. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes, I can. The social community here is probably one of the most cohesive groups I've ever had in any neighborhood I've been in. It's called FOCA, F-O-C-A, Friends of Cameron Air Park. Now, FOCA is totally benevolent. We charge about $25 per year for membership. The interesting thing about FOCA is they conduct parties and events. And we have 10, 12 parties a year, a Christmas party, an Oktoberfest, a Valentine's Day party.
Might be a little loud. Hold on. Somebody taking off on 1-3?
That's 3-1. He's going out downwind. Which you're allowed to do, but it's... Oh, that's Gary Hampton. We fly formation together. He should know better. It's probably because he's heading north.
Yeah, downwind takeoff.
Well, if the wind's light, the prevailing runway is runway 31.
You get maybe a little sheltered in there, huh?
A little bit, and because there's hills surrounding the air park, at times we get a crosswind that comes and goes depending on where you are on the runway. It isn't dangerous in any way, but it's a little different. Every airport's unique. So we experienced that, and you know, as a broker that flies out of this air park and that owns a home here, if somebody calls me from Chicago and they say, what's it like to fly in and out of Cameron Air Park? I can tell them. I actually can tell them what it's like. If they want to know what is it like to build a house here at Cameron Air Park, I can tell them that too. So it's really kind of fun because we talk things that we enjoy, and I really like doing this. As far as the social organization, Friends of Cameron Air Park, we have a lot of parties each year. We have a Christmas party, and almost everybody attends. We're talking 70, 80 people show up for our Christmas party. They have an ice cream social in June. They have an Oktoberfest. We end up with a number of other events like a Valentine's Day party. I mean, I'm partied out. I'll be honest with you. I don't make them all. We have a wonderful 4th of July fireworks display on Cameron Park Lake, and the whole community shows up. I mean, they close down Boeing Road, they have an all-day party, and in the evening there's a 20, 25-minute fireworks display, and all of Cameron Park shows up for that. We are working on funding security cameras at the entrance of our air park. And the reason is these are public streets, and so that anyone can come and go. And we have had on occasion a young fella going in here doing a donut or two. So we kind of want to make sure that that doesn't get out of hand. But really, you'll find this neighborhood, we all pull together, we all help each other. If I'm working on one of my airplanes and I need an Adele mount, or I need a part for my airplane, there's a half a dozen people I can call here and I go, do you have a number 3 Adele mount? I'm working on it. Oh yeah, sure, come on down and come get it. And I've never experienced a neighborhood that was so giving that way. I really enjoy it. The social organization is also for young kids and families. They have an Easter egg hunt, and we just had that here just last month. And they do a lot of benevolent things. Project Linus is making blankets for people that need them in the community. Great organization, Friends of Cameron Air Park. It's really one of the things that makes this air park great.
A quick question for you too, that's kind of airplane related, it's not on your list, but you said you got a 4,000-foot runway. What type of aircraft do people usually fly in and out of here?
You know, the kind of aircraft that we get here really is quite a variety. We have had straight wing jets here, like the Eclipse 500. We've have had Cessna Citation jets in and out of here. But mostly they're single and light twin aircraft. I might mention that this is a public use runway. So it's part of the United States Airway System, and we are a 24-hour a day, 365 day a year airport open to the public. And so in that, we have the ability to have life flight helicopters land here in case they need to heliport some accident victim out of here in a hurry. We have a lot of people that commute from Cameron Air Park into the Bay Area. And so we have, I won't call it a rush hour, but I will say we'll have at 0600 2 or 3 people light out of here, and instead of a 2.5 or 3.5 hour drive, let's say to Palo Alto or Santa Cruz, in 20 minutes, there are no stoplights and you can commute to work pretty quick. The only time that gets to be a little bit difficult is in IFR weather, in instrument conditions. Now, you can still leave this airport in IFR conditions. You just can't come back because we don't have an instrument approach here. But there is one up in Placerville, that's only 11 miles away. And there's certainly one at Mather Field. And with that instrument approach and 11,000 foot long, 300 foot wide runway, if you can't find that place in bad weather, you're in a really bad situation. So it's great to be near those facilities, quite frankly, to have this airport paved, lit, have a PLASI and an AWAS coming. Well, we've got the facilities that any pilot would really admire having at their home airport.
Tell me a little bit about some of the recreational resources that are available to you right now.
You know, El Dorado County starts at Folsom at 400 feet, and it tops out over 10,000 feet at the ridge this side of South Lake Tahoe. You know, almost 60% of this county is owned by some government agency, whether it's national forest, desolation, wilderness, some park, river, or lake. We have some of the best camping and fishing recreation and boating recreation in California. The Sierras are, well, you know, Yosemite is only a few miles south of here, maybe 80 or 100 miles south of here. And we have that same quality of recreation. So there's camping, there's fishing, boating and water skiing, downhill skiing in the wintertime, cross-country skiing. Of course, the casinos are right at State Line if you like to gamble in South Lake, and you couldn't ask for a prettier place to be than in Tahoe. Lake Tahoe Basin is absolutely gorgeous. So, and if you're really in a hurry, Folsom Lake, 10 minutes away. You could be water skiing 15 minutes from now. So we really are very recreational, and we feel that that's right here at our back door.
We had one little camera booth. So can I just have you ask you real quick? Let's get set up. No worries. So can you just tell me a little bit more about Yosemite? Like, how far away is Yosemite?
You know, Yosemite, I think, is about 100 miles south of here, and it's likewise in the western side of the Sierra Nevada mountains. Delightful scenery. I mean, who doesn't like Yosemite, you know, John Muir and all that. Well, El Dorado County is in the same mountain range, and we're at the 1,200 foot elevation, but only 60 miles east of here, it goes up and over a 7,200 foot ridge as to Highway 50, and over 10,000 foot at the peaks, at the snow peaks. So we've really got a county that is very diverse. It has numerous climate zones. We're in what they call the Digger Pine Belt. Down here, we have oak trees and digger pines. Just east of here, by 5 or 10 miles, starts the ponderosa pines and the conifers, and you get a little higher up and you get into the alpine belt. Now, if you don't like to mess with the snow, that's great because it rarely snows down here. But in the winter, you just go a 1.5 hour drive east of here and you're in the snow. Some of the best downhill skiing available. So it's really a wonderful spot to be if you're retired or fortunate enough to be able to work here nearby. Messed that one up.
So it's a really fortunate place.
It really is. We feel blessed to be here. I've flown all over this country, and I am originally from New York. If you can't hear it, I just might as well explain it to you. Brooklyn, New York. And I came out here as an airplane salesman. And I will tell you, back in '78, bad timing on Nick's part, because interest rates and was very high, and inflation, nobody was buying airplanes. So I got involved in real estate, and that was just the best thing I ever did for myself, because it allowed me to afford my aviation habit. I could afford avgas, and though I wasn't flying everybody else's brand new airplanes, I really was able to make a career out of it and become independent. And I located here specifically because of this air park, and I did that in 1980. I bought a few acres and created a ranch. You know, that's kind of a little bit of my history, and the air park itself is something that cannot be duplicated in this environment at all.
Let's go through that just one more time. Just a little bit more. I think we kind of brushed through you, I thought, a little quickly. Tell me a little bit about you, and tell me about your business.
You bet. I'm originally from Long Island, New York, and went to Garden City High School, 1970, Hofstra University, 1975. We'll do it again. They have no idea what we're doing. They're going to make it around the horn and bug out of here, so it'll take a few minutes. I know I'm talking too much, but you'll have a lot of editing to do. Thank God they're wise to airplanes, huh?
Yeah, I noticed that afterwards.
Well, that's
They're
why.
keeping it on right now.
I mean, you got to now because
Yeah, what it was, they had gain compensation on with the ND filter on. I noticed it after we already started shooting, so we can't really change it too often.
exposure or something.
It,
This will be okay.
it should be okay. I mean, I assume we're gonna be like
Yeah.
doing a whole lot of post on it.
They got another stop to make, and then they'll be out of here.
That should be good enough.
I'm actually amazed that we haven't had more traffic, because we get a lot of people that just come and look, stare. God, it's an airplane, you know, and then turn around. And well, it's been pretty quiet. On a weekend, we'd never have this kind of quiet. All set?
Yep. Do me a favor. Tell me about you. Tell me about your business.
My business is a real estate brokerage business that specializes in basically two things: aviation property, and specifically Cameron Air Park, as well as large ranch and development property. That's one of them. No, it's the neighbor. All right, let's try it
We're
again.
gonna get this down eventually.
We'll get this down again. Can I just go?
Yeah. Tell me about you and tell me about your business.
My company is called Nixon and Associates, and I'm the broker here. It's very small. I specialize in aviation property and, of course, Cameron Air Park. I also broker large ranch property. I do 1031 tax-deferred exchanges, and I do development property real estate. But really, this is my love. The air park has been a very pleasurable part of my real estate brokerage. Now, I became an agent in 1980. I worked for an attorney. We were land specialists, and that's where I learned that specialty. But I've always brokered the air park. It's kind of had been a little side business up until somewhat recently, where I've really concentrated on brokering these homes and lots. Now, consider I have more transactions here in 35 years than all the other agents and brokers put together. These people are not only my clients, they're my friends. We end up playing together, flying together. The gal across the street is an air show pilot. We fly formation together all the time. We really go out of our way to memorialize people that have gone west, that have passed on, fellow pilots. And so we'll actually do a 4-ship formation that has the number 3 pull up and go west. And that's the way we kind of honor some of the people that have passed on in the air park. As to my brokerage, I use my airplane for my business. So this Chinese airplane behind me, I use it for aerial photography and take pictures of large ranches. I use it as part of the logo in my business as well. So if the goal is to enjoy what you do for a living, I've rung the bell because I'm really enjoying what I do.
That's great. We've gone through your list. I'm just trying to think of anything else I can ask you.
Let me make this. Let me offer this. We have some very interesting personalities here, and pilots are not all the same. We have some retired military pilots here. I mean, the guy across the street worked at McClellan Air Force Base as a crew chief in the F-111 and F-15 project. So he was the guy that when they manufactured the airplane, they remanufactured the airplane, he made sure everything worked so that the guy flying had a reliable airplane. We have an air show pilot here that's very well known. She is the most famous female aviator. I'm not going to mention her name, but she's also one of the very first female airline pilots. And this lady has over 33,000 hours of flight time. She has spent a lifetime in an airplane. She's a delightful neighbor and friend. We have another fella here in the air park, which was one of the people of the team that created the Atari computer game years ago. And he's still designing high-tech stuff, hardware and software. We had just recently a fella moved to Phoenix that lived here for 35 years. I brokered the lot to him 30 years. They built their house, raised their family, and he was a real rocket scientist. I mean, this guy worked at Aerojet from the day he left his college and graduated till the day he retired. The guy designed rocket engines for Aerojet. We have a number of very interesting people here. Airline pilots, some active, some retired. Fella down the block is a captain for American Airlines in 777s. Another guy down the block is a Southwest captain. They all fly 737s, we know that. That's just like the only airplane they fly, right? But we have really an interesting group of people. And you want to know what's really neat? We're all pretty equal. I won't say there aren't a couple of egos here and there, but we have some great people. One guy restores World War II Navy aircraft. He is known all over the country for the finest restorations of Navy aircraft. He has an SNJ that is an award winner wherever it goes. And he is restoring right on the other side of the airport. I won't mention the name, but he is restoring one of the only future flying SB-2C it's called a Dauntless, and it's the airplane that George H.W. Bush was shot down in the South Pacific. Not the airplane, but the same kind of airplane. So we've got a great neighborhood here. Everybody loves aviation, and I can't tell you how lucky I feel to be here and doing business for these people.
It's a great invite. Can't beat it.
Think we got enough?
Yeah, let's get, we're going to record what we call a little bit of room tone. So
Okay.
We're going to